This is my apology stream for just crashing out over literally crashing in a plane game for 2 days. Plane game round 3. No, there is no round 3. There is no more Project Wingman. I feel like doing things twice, and both times they go bad. We don't do this. This isn't an achieve your 100% playthrough. Yeah, because I gotta teach someone how to go to like princess school. Can I change my game to Robot Alchemic Drive? You're pissing me off. Yeah, all right, original Star Walker, original Virus Walker. One of these days. I mean, it's not today, because as of right now, you need to watch these ads. Put Mirror's moss on the walls, that's fine. At this point, I'm kind of just like, I'm waiting to see if something bad happens this, like, intervallo. And by bad, I mean something purple. Because I think it'd be funny if, like, you know, he just shows back up. Morning? Yeah, good morning. Again, this is my apology stream for crashing the fuck out hard over, like, a plane game twice. People are not kidding about the jump. The thing about the checkup intervallo is that you need to have good IDs for all your centers. And if you don't, you're fucked. Because, like, if you've gotten some, like, if you have, like, a good team, that good team has probably carried you through a majority of the game so far, and you can kind of just afford to ignore everybody else. But if not, then you're kind of fucked. Because then it's like, oh, well, my team of, like, 6 centers has been serving me well, and I don't have, like, a single good Sinclair ID. And then you go to the checkup intervallo, and it's like, hey, so, you have a Sinclair ID, right? What happened? Fires put the gun away. The thing about Project Wingman is that the game is, like, all the missions are really long. And then if I fuck up any of the missions, then I have to restart the entire mission. And some of them are, like, long. Like, long. Project Moonman. I could be the moon. I can control water. I haven't told anybody about this power, but, like, whenever I was, like, 4 and in the bathtub, whenever I moved my hands in the water, I could make small waves. So, like, I can kind of control. Who gave a sub to Virus?
I love you.
I can kind of control water. It's kind of like it's like no big deal. Yo, I don't want anybody to make a big deal out of it, but I can do that. Fuck ads. Madge. Ads counter. I mean, we need to get rid of the ads anyway. That's why we do this. Okay. Ads are over. I love ads. Let me consume product. I hate ads. I fucking hate ads. If I could just disable ads permanently on this stream, I would. But I don't get that option. So instead, intervallo. No matter how long this is, this will be, like, the stream. I think the game's crashing. You are not wood. You are made of flesh. I am wood. I am made of 2 parts wood, 1 part bark. What a Google Play Store thing we're looking at. You're looking at Limbus Company. This is the thing I've been insane over for, like, months. Please load. Please load. I want to get to the Intervallo. I want to get into the Intervallo. I want to know what happens in the Intervallo. Load? Load? It's fucking Limbus? It doesn't take 7 bajillion years? In history. I don't care about... Who gives a shit about history? I shouldn't have done that. Why does it look like a gacha waifu game? Because it is a gacha game. Yeah, that's why we have boxes. Are you a Hollow Knighter, Mr. Squid? Yes, I did beat all of Hollow Knight. I beat the Path of, like, Pain. I beat Radiance. I beat it all. The family heir-arch's proof. Where's Path of Pain? A Path of Kings, the thing, like, where you have to go through, like, the White Castle or whatever the fuck, and it's just, like, the Champion's Road type thing, where you just have to, like, do a bunch of platforming through a bunch of tight-ass holes. You do it on Steel Soul. No, because I like having fun with video games. The hall was chill with a tense air, and those present all sat in complete silence. Then there was... Fuck! Jia Wanchun. I think. Look, there are like so many other gacha waifu games. Yes, and they're all shit. That's why I play the good one. With her lips slightly curled into a mirthless sneer. At their center of it all sat Ji Shi-chun, unsure of what to say next. Oh, right. Intervallos aren't voiced. Played with Kong Lu. Yes. I also need to take off my jacket. Well, everyone. Ah! Kanto 8 names fuck me up so bad. Jia Wanchun, seated next to the heir-arch's seat, upon which Ji Chun sat, smoothly takes control of the situation and begins the assembly. Honored heads of the houses, lords of each family, their proxies, members, and... I mean Chinese. Yes. I don't know Chinese phonetics, so, like, they're, like, really hard to sight read. She nods slightly, acknowledging our awkward presence, and little Shi-chun's guests who stay here at our H-Corp. Seems to be extending without a foreseeable end. Isn't she technically from Q-Corp? What's up with her acting like she's any less of an outsider than we are? Yeah, did everyone catch that? Our H-Corp? Regardless of everything else, the fact that she hijacked the meeting from the get-go is ridiculous, especially with Ji Shi-chun, the family heir-arch herself, presiding over this official assembly. Clearly, she's using the pretense of assisting the heir-arch. I want to say hierarch. That's not how you say hierarch. That's heir-arch. She's using the heir-arch to assert her own dominance over these proceedings. As we are all aware, Venerable Forma Jia Mu has always discussed with and confided in me about the matters of greatest import, the momentousness of which steered the very course of our H-Corp's prospects. What? I'm pretty sure it's heir-arch. Isn't that hierarchy without the Y? Is it? I thought it was heir-arch. Because I thought it makes sense because, like, you know, this is the heir. It's not higher. I thought it was heir-arch. I think, wouldn't that make sense? Could be hierarch, heir-arch, If it was heir, the I and the E would be swapped. I believe that. Even after I departed the family for Q Corp, venerable former Jia Mu has always written missives to confer such matters with me. Something about it smelled suspicious, but we'd already missed our window to challenge her to present us with proof without breaking decorum. Thus, as it naturally follows that I would be the inheritor of the venerable Jia Mu's will, I shall be presiding over this regular assembly, which we convene now to discuss and determine the future of H Corp. What a grandiose and self-important introduction. It seemed clear to me that she considered herself to be the main character of this scene, or something. It's hierarchy without the Y. HEIRARCH. Our grace certainly benefits your station, Lady Wanchun. We are all impressed by your utmost dedication to the citizenry of Huangwan, despite your already saturated schedule. We can hardly thank you enough for your magnanimity. 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 I think it's magnanimity. I know this word, I just, like, forget how it's said. It's magnanimity, I'm pretty sure. Lady Wanchun. Ah, my parents. A true shame they couldn't be here, having always sung praises of your expertise, Lady Wanchun. Wanchun. I like Wang. He just looks cool, but also, I said that. Responses from the participants are just as protracted. Only obsequious instead of arrogant. I think it's obsequious. As heads of some of those houses were under investigation for consorting with the forces foreign to Hongwan, their vacuum was filled by their children's generation, many of whom we had the pleasure of meeting during the family HEIRARCH war. Very well, then shall we welcome Ji Shi Chun, I'm pretty sure. Jia Shi Chun. I think it's just Jia Shi Chun. The next person to sit upon the seat of Huangwan's family hierarchy. They all say such big words! Greetings, I am... Now let us begin. J-A. G-A. Is it not Jia? Because, like, Jia Bao Yu is how you say, like, Hong Lu's name. Isn't it? And they're, like, a family. So it'd be, like... Jia Shi Chun? I'm American. I'm American. I am so fucking American. For many years, all those who have gathered here have toiled day and night for the eternal prosperity and growth of H Corp. Jia Shi Chun's expression immediately sours as Wan Chun unceremoniously cuts off her self-introduction. First on the agenda for this assembly are urgent discussions and passages of a new major policy, items that have been tabled for too long. Distributive contribution rights, auctioning policy, quarterly amnesty policy. Hold on, big sister Wan Chun. Passing the... Oh, fuck, you're gonna say a lot of words, aren't you? Oh, fuck, you are. Passing the distributive contribution rights auctioning policy would allow the open auction for any remaining rooms in the day before reconstruction days, and the quarterly amnesty wouldn't do anything but give unfair advantage to certain families and high net worth individuals by guaranteeing them large real estate assignments regardless of the performance in the previous quarter. Good luck, buddy. Why am I having to sit here? My head's a clock. Jia Shi Chun stutters a little, flustered before continuing. My point is, these policies are going to rattle H Corp's economy the moment they go into effect. Besides, these policies are pretty much drawn into favor, lining the pockets of a select few families at high-ranking officials. She really did say fuck capitalism. If I may, venerable hierarch. Lining the pockets? That's quite the odd turn of phrase to refer to the bare minimum of respect the society might repay to its highest contributing members, don't you think? Oh, before we contender, Ji Chun. Contender? What the fuck is contender? I also liked Limbus before it became political. What the fuck? What the hell, Project Moon? Before we continue, Ji Chun, I'm not entirely certain if you're aware, but ever since the ascension of the new family hierarch, the perceived value of Hongwan has been racing to, for lack of a better word, rock bottom. Clearly, this demonstrates Hongwan's concern and the lack of faith in the newly appointed family hierarch. Therefore, it naturally follows that our most urgent task at hand is to put a stop to this value and reputation freefall and restore prosperity and greatness to Huangwan once again. Yeah, okay, that's the family hierarch's job. Why are you... If you had perused H-Corp's Articles of Association, you would have known that, should H-Corp be deemed to be in a state of crisis, the four great houses and the board of directors' voice may also carry de facto power in the assembly. And the board of directors, that's us, has determined that we are now in a state of crisis. State of crisis? What crisis? Everything that led to my ascension to the family hierarch was legitimate, down to the final approval. These unseemly rumors and slander are tanking our value, which we have built up assiduously through years of toil. Through years upon years of toil. So what is this if not a state of crisis? And who wouldn't doubt the new family hierarch's qualities, when this decline has coincided precisely with her ascension? Ji Wanchun was somehow turning... Hope you have a good stream. I won't. I'm gonna have a terrible stream now. I'm gonna throw up in your mouth. Like a bird! Without presenting a single shred of evidence, portraying her as some burdensome hierarch who is single-handedly tanking H-Corp's value. Promise? Yes. No one in the assembly, not a single representative from any of the families present, stepped up to point out how Jia Shichun's swift actions were what finally repelled the outside forces that had marched right up to Huangwan's front yard. Or how she deftly maneuvered her forces to quell the embers of war by quickly taking control of the chaos within. Da Guanyan! Ah! Ah! Sight reading Chinese, sight reading Chinese, sight reading Chinese. I think, if nothing else, I can take solace in the fact that I can at least, like, sight read Ryoshu's Kanto, because it's all going to be Japanese. She hadn't shown any glaring signs of incompetence since her ascension, despite her relative inexperience, but... Everyone in Huangwan's board of directors, the heads of each family, averted their eyes as though all of that had somehow, inconceivably, slipped their minds. So do you take yourself to be a qualified individual for that responsibility, Shichun? Very well, then proceed. Oh, you're gonna yap. We're all waiting for you to begin your briefing before the assembly regarding the last 30 years' quarterly net revenue records for Huangwan's singularity-related businesses, your calculations on next year's fiscal debt forecast, and the exact recipe and variation numbers for the boluses that have been registered in the last 5 years. That's, The Venerable Hierarch has not received that data prior to this meeting. You all must be aware of the chaos that followed the ascension. We are still indexing all available materials to... Isn't that funny? Not once in the history of Huangwan has the family hierarch ever failed to provide immediate and detailed answers regarding Huangwan's historical statistics. Jia Wanchun must have known that all along, too. Do you not know centuries history off the top of your head, Milky? I'm stupid. Especially recently. I'm, like, really stupid. She must have known that the previous family hierarchs were all directly supplied with an immense repository of information through the Jia Huang worm or something of that equivalent. And she's using it to target Shichun's weakness, knowingly asking questions she, the first family hierarch without the Anamanu worm, couldn't possibly answer. Reading this, like, I'm usually pretty okay. I feel pretty confident in how I can read shit, but reading all of this makes me feel like this. I feel like a goddamn monkey. The responsibilities tied to this venerable seat of the hierarch, Jiamu, are matched only by the great power bestowed upon it. Thus, how are we able to leave the matters of the wing to someone who is so evidently unprepared for the task? Given the present circumstances, our hands may be forced to vote the motion of no confidence. The motion of no confidence? A motion of no confidence, when passed by the high-ranking political officials, can result in the removal of the chief executive from office. So they're going after Shichun's power? So this is the picture. This is going to be the longest intervallo ever. Jia Wanchun wanted to paint impotent family hierarch, stammering and stumbling through her first meeting to the total and near unanimous Lack of support. Unanimous. Unanimous. That unanimous? That's not unanimous. Is it? I think it is unanimous. I've never seen unanimous. I've always heard it. Near unanimous lack of support from the H Corp Board of Directors. Do I do a British accent for Heathcliff, or would that be considered fucked up and evil? Because, like, he is British. Do I do British? Do it. Yes, do it. It'd be funny. Do it. Give him Boston. He's not Boston, though. He's literally British. I'm British. I give you the pass. See how long it takes you to give up. You fucking... think I would. How do you do British? I'm forgetting how everybody sounds ever. I'm hearing like woodland noises in my brain. I know how deer sound now. Do it, no balls. I'm already stumbling with Chinese. If I have to read Chinese names with a British accent, I might actually explode. I'm gonna go insane. 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 Whatever jargon there. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. Hello, mate. That's Australian. Oi, mate. Tuesday, isn't it? Whatever jargon they're on about, seems to me they've got not an ounce of respect for the lass or us. Good enough? Never trust twats overly obsessed with numbers and optimizations. They'll be the first ones to kick you out the moment they no longer see you as useful. You're not the only one who's pissed off. So can you please stop shaking your leg for a second? Don't need to make our frustrations any more obvious, you know. My arse would have left the chair long ago if it weren't for this loss. Close to Boston. I'm pretty good at doing Boston because I feel like in my past life I was like 7 goons. I answered to like the mob boss real good, and then I died in like a fishing accident somewhere. Goons, the goon bloodline, goons. Yeah, gooning, yeah, bro, yeah, but fucking pulling out my goon stick, glicking my gooner live on stream, all right? Absolutely gooning my glick stick live on camera. Absolutely fucking splurting the nertin'. In H Corp, should the board of directors unanimously vote in favor of the motion, certain parts of the family hierarch's powers will be removed. It is entirely possible that she will become a hierarch in name only. Oh, so they're threatening to fire her unless she falls in line. This is some needlessly convoluted way to... The Assembly will now consider the motion of no confidence. Are there any objections to the bringing forth the motion of no confidence against family hierarch Jiaxi Chun to the floor? Hold on, the vote of no confidence is an item you can invoke so lightly. The Shi family has no objections. Let's say the Wang family has no objections either. Ue? Do I read the X? Xylophone. Zhuai? No, that sounds wrong. Shuai. Shuai family 2. Shui. Zune. No, I think that was an iPod. The rest of the previous family's heads seem to have changed precisely nothing. Those in power wore more youthful faces, but the tongue still carried the same old resistance to change. X is Shui. The new family heads were just as uncooperative as ever, and everyone seemed to be solely interested in staying in Jia Wanchun's good graces. New faces, same old. And needless to say, Heathcliff wasn't the only sinner fuming with rage. 'Tis far too vexing to simply watch and do naught. Right? I knew you wouldn't let this slide, Don Quixote. They're walking all over Shi Chun like she's not even here. Forsooth, we cannot let such injustice transpire unabated. I can read Dawn easy. Dawn speaks my language, which is like fucked up and evil medieval. Hey, seems like we're both on the same page. That's it, I'm not gonna hesitate and make myself heard again. This time I want to be courageous. With your help, Don Quixote. Come on, let's do this together, okay? Very well! I am in agreement. Yeah, then let's go on 3 at the same time. If there are no objections, 1, 2, the Assembly will put this resolution to vote in a month, and 3! Here, I objection! Bloody hell! Oh, you got mental! Sinclair stood tall at the center of the entire room's undivided astonishment. Alone. Don Quixote, still firmly in her seat, gazed up upon Sinclair's proud stand and rubbed her nose. Young Sinclair, thou hast evolved indeed. What an unmitigated pursuer of justice thou hast become, with such unreveling fervor and utter disregard for decorum. Certainly, mine efforts have finally borne fruit. What the hell? Did Don Quixote or Heathcliff suddenly rub off on you or something? No, wait, no! What happened there, Don Quixote? We were going to... What happened to objecting together? Oh? I'd taken that suggestion to mean that we must voice our dissatisfaction through the official channels, borrowing the titles of the illustrious Red Gaze and the departments of the LCC. Disputes in succession of power on such a high level of government are hardly ever resolved with rash grandstanding. What's thou not agree? You've grown so much, Don. Why are you normal all of a sudden? Lad, what just happened? What happened to the clammy meek boy? Well, that's... I guess I just assumed that this was how Limbus Company rolls now. There seems to have been an unexpected outburst from Shichun's guests. Withdraw your objection and we will consider this a momentary loss of control, not entered as an official statement. It was, Sinclair's eyes were shaking like someone with his life on the line. If not, I take it that you have full confidence in her abilities. So please, I encourage you to elaborate. When and how will Shichun gemmerate? That's a word. That's a good word. Good job, brain. Let's try that one again. Demonstrate her aptitude for the responsibilities of the family hierarch. His voice continues to shrivel into a corner. He can't. And how could anyone? How could anyone when we all have a very clear view of her path to ascension? During the family hierarch evaluation, Jia Baoyu donated his coins he received from Jishu to you. Essentially, you pity-partied your way to victory. Pity-partied? And for your ascension, Jichu and those outsiders from the upstart company had to, almost literally, carry you to the seat. Has there ever been a single victory attained by your hands in that entire process? Oh, it's him, isn't it? I don't know if I can do him justice. Like, I'm gonna be real, I don't think I can do him justice. Ricardo, it's not Ricardo. That's right! From the fucking... We all remember from the the hierarch selection. He's back! Oh, fuck, how do I do this? I can't do deep chesty voices. And like, his is a deep chesty voice. I do good nasally. Like, I'm a good Sinclair. I think I'm a pretty terrible this. I mean, fuck it, I'll try. Boring tone since... I mean, we know who it is. It's Jichu. It's Jiachu. I think it's Jiachu. Jiashu? One of those two. Milky is a terrible home. I'm gonna go deep for this. Make fun of me later. Joshu. Confucius. Yeah, it's Confucius. Oh. Fuck. How do you voice act? How do you do anything? Pepsi. Oh. Oh. But have we all not been witness to the qualities she exhibited during the family hierarch evaluation and her own ascension? You must have no shame, snaking your forked tongue in the audience of both heaven and earth like an unwitting buffoon. That's when quiet, even footsteps broke through Jia Wanchun's merciless dismantling of Jia Shichun. I need to remember these things like a lot. That's what I mean, I'm not good at deep. Yet, I see the point. The hierarch, with her grace, needs only demonstrate her already established qualifications before all. This is no place for an outsider to speak. But proceed. That's not Confucius. I got it wrong. I thought it was Confucius. Just how will she prove herself before us? What an odd statement coming from a fellow outsider who's been chattering for minutes on end. Forgive me, I can only presume from your verbosity that its right to speak in this forum was open to all outsiders. You have said it yourself, no? That the vote of no confidence resolution will proceed in a month. That seems to give the venerable... Yeah, I can't tell if it's my mic or like the cable. I'm like 90% certain it's the fucking mic. But like, sometimes my mic just stops working and I have to like go to voice mod and be like, no. And then it's like, oh, right, the mic. So it's like, eh. You had a robotic filter on that. Yeah, briefly, Milky. That wasn't the robotic filter. I'm pretty sure that was just the mic, like, exploding. Very well. A fair challenge between clans, which would preclude the participation of the family hierarchs, Heisho packs, and the Jialan guards. So you would remove her Pao and her Zhu before the game even begins. Why not make this a test? Why not make this test a series of sparring matches in both academia and martial arts, if such is the case? What audacity. Do you truly have that much faith in Jia Shichun abilities? You must know the consequences of failing these matches, no? It would be a unanimous, one-sided end to the vote of no confidence, and naturally, any and all rights appertaining to the family hierarch shall be transferred to the board of directors. It's fine by us. You're free to choose any champion whom you see fit. Unfortunately, your underlings don't seem to share your inflated confidence. But in the midst of the confused, flabbergasted silence from the other sinners, a clear, carefree, yet defiant voice rings out. Hong Lu's retort. Milky, can you T-Pain? You mean like... Oh, I thought T-Pain was like the dude from like CSI Miami or something. Like, the guy... Do I have that wrong? I do have that wrong. The guy that was just like, they're hacking into the mainframe and we're like, this data broker's about to zip all our files. And they go like, in English, Four Eyes. And then, you know, they're fucking our pussies. That's not true at all, Big Sister Wanchun. We actually have just as much confidence in Shichun as she does. His wide eyes stared directly and unblinkingly into Jia Wanchun's. It occurred to me that this might be his way of expressing anger. Impudent children, how dare he stare me down like that? Then you're welcome to try. 1 month. You have but 1 month to prove before all an audience that she is, indeed, fit to be the family hierarch. Should you fail, the vote may as well be mere formality. In other words, should she successfully prove herself, none of you shall again rightfully challenge the independent rights and powers bestowed upon the family hierarch. The consequences of such recalcitrance. That's a new fucking word. Recalcitrant. In the state of being recalcitrant. Okay, yeah, that's great. What the fuck does that mean? State of being stubborn, resistant, or disobedient, especially when refusing to submit to authority or control. How the fuck do they know these words? A lot of vocab checks to Intervallo. I mean, this is the Intervallo that has fucking Confucius in it, so, like, makes sense. Would be no different from those that the traders that the traders are facing. Wouldn't you agree? Well then, we will excuse ourselves now. Wait, Zigong turns around toward us with that same mysterious smile and slowly directs us outside the assembly hall. We may call them sparring matches, but you must know that each and every one of them is a test to prove your claim to the seat of the family hierarch. A month is a time far too brief for drastic improvement, regardless of whom it may be. Learning from a proper master for 10 months straight might teach you a few things, but who knows how long the search for one such master might take, not to mention the official channels which must bring them past Dagwan's walls. We'll call that close enough. Which may take up to 2 months. Why not relent now and relinquish but a part of your powers to the family hierarch to the board of directors? It seems that this fellow outsider's mental faculties are impressively lacking. My lord has spoken in the past that when in the presence of 3 people, at least one of them is bound to be a teacher of mine. And here they are, aren't they? Jiashi Chun's masters, each carrying something new to teach her. All 13 of them. Zigong gestured calmly toward the flabbergasted sinners, and the assembly came to an end. Dante cannot speak, you fool. He's got an inner voice. My bad, They've got an inner voice. They talk to themselves. It's like fucking, I do it too. You just gotta like, there is an inner voice in my brain. "12 teachers. What about 13? I thought it was 13. Just one? It depends on what I'm doing. If I've heard someone talk before, I can just mimic their voice in my head. Like, if I wanted to, I could have Markiplier read all this out to me. Sinclair was executed. Rest in fucking peace, Sinclair. We were planning to train Jiashi Chun anyway. But it seems that we're now under an unexpected deadline. Hey, when you said the LCB was gonna help me out, did you guys mean that you were gonna publicly humiliate the crap out of me at the assembly? Of course not, Chi-chun. Big sister Wan Chun's an old snake! I've just given her 30 days to set the perfect stage for my downfall to prove to the world once and for all that I'm not qualified to be the family hierarch. Can you have Markiplier read it out to us? I can't, like, jack you into my mind. But Chi-chun, weren't you always so good at humbling anyone who dared underestimate you? Not so much anymore. Back then, like an idiot, I thought I had just had to hold on with everything I had. I thought that's all I ever had to do, but now... Now... things are different. It's true that I'm vastly underqualified to be the family hierarch, and she's right. I pretty much lucked into this position. Chi-chun, don't tell me that woman's bullshit actually got to you. Well, she wasn't completely wrong, right? I'm just some kid who happened to be just good enough to survive some traps and ambushes. I'm afraid that the responsibility of a family hierarch might be too much. Her self-confidence has significantly decreased in comparison to the observation from our previous interaction. The heck, Chi-chun? I don't remember you being this kind of character. What happened to the girl who looked down on us the moment we met? You ever had the audacity to pretend that we didn't even know who we were, didn't you? Where'd all that confidence go, girl? That actually got under her skin back then, huh? So, Chi-chun, what do you want to do? Are you sure you're okay with this? Are you okay with letting this happen? If I let it happen, Big Sister Wan Chun's gonna continue expanding her influence here. I'm sure she and the board of directors have been cozying up to each other for a long time. It is the implication of her testaments on her influences were true. Yep, it's true. Before she left Q Corp, Big Sister Wan Chun used to always accompany Jia Mu to these assemblies.
If we just let them hold the vote of no confidence, they're going to unanimously vote against me and still reduce the family hierarch's scope of power. And who knows, they might even call for a reevaluation, however unlikely that sounds. Besides, Big Sister Wan Chun, I think her definition of Huang Wan's prosperity might be different from mine. What she's looking for isn't H Corp's prosperity, it's Duang Wan's. Dagwan Wan? And I know that this just has something to do with its ties to Q Corp, which I bet has already been going on for a while just under my radar. I'm sure they've already had plenty of talks behind my back. Which is not the kind of vision you have for Huang Wan's future, right? And that's why you spoke up against her? My vision for Huang Wan is... I want to change H Corp to be the kind of place where people can live without fear. Da Huan Nyan. Nyan? Like a cat. Like Nya. I just never imagined I have to prove myself like this, and in only 30 days. Even then, your vision hasn't changed, right? It hasn't. Great! So it's decided then, huh? We just need Fao to deliver the bad news to Saudi. Like, yeah, see? So to summarize, the responsibility of the training Zichun to win these matches, these amorphous tests, upon which hinges the family hierarch's fate, and almost every facet of which is entirely under that's not even the right word! Ji Wan Chun's control, by the way, and is probably a trap within the next 30 days, is ours. And we have to explain that to Saudi. Yeah! Wow, I just inserted a word. Sounds like a lot of work when you put it like that. Post-mortem reports have become quite rote. Sometime later. Prithee, thou must impress upon the illustrious red gaze that it wasn't mine idea this time. Sinclair stared blankly at Don Quixote as she made her desperate plea towards Saudi. Sod, wet gaze. Yes, and I understand that well. For the 8th time. As always, Sod was wearing the same refreshingly incomprehensible smile. The kind of smile that makes people increasingly anxious, the longer it lasts. Well, that gives us about 30 days during which those sparring matches, tests, whatever, will be happening, as well as... Great. Then let's give it our best. Sinclair mutters in a near whisper, clearly feeling responsible for what happened. Yes, I understand. I never should have stepped out of line like that, but something just... Yeah, so let's give it our best. I totally agree. We messed everything up again, and... What? Limbus Company was always going to remain here and assist Miss Jia Shi-chun acclimatize herself. Assist Miss Jia Shi-chun acclimatize herself. Acclimatize? Acclimatize. I think it's acclimatize. Herself to the responsibilities of the family hierarch. It was always part of our plan. Well, I sure am glad I took Faust's advice on how meticulously planning is completely pointless when it comes to the LCB's missions. I never would have known to submit 9 separate disciplinary incident reports back during the J-Corp incident, had I known. I believe I should be able to explain this further. Prior to his departure, my lord was concerned that such a thing would come to pass. That's why he has left Zilu and I here to look after the new family hierarch's position, which must still be on rather thin ice. Oh, so that's what they were privately talking about when he pulled them aside. Doing nothing and allowing her wicked machinations to progress would have irrevocably made the entire board of directors not but putty in Wan Chun's hands. And that would have led to that snake to the de facto assume the seat of the family hierarch. Against such an insidious foe who wields intrigue as her weapon, the most viable strategy is the most direct one, to challenge her head on. Besides, has this not given you the excuse you need to prolong your company's stay in Da Huan Yan? This is also a prime example for Ji Shi-chun to solidify your influence there depending on the outcome of the vote of no confidence. They have played right into our hands by accepting this deal. So, I don't want to rain on everyone's parade, but are we not even going to consider what might happen if we fail? Hey, Milky, I just started Impuritas. Welcome to the end of Ruina. Hope you have fun. No, we're not, because you will not fail. Not with us aiding your efforts. Also, were you serious back there when you said that we were going to teach Ji Shi-chun? All 12 of us? I won't object to selecting only a few of us with better aptitude to be educators. Ah, by the way, we already have established the internal hierarchy based on the sum of each of our abilities. Of course, the results weren't entirely to my satisfaction due to an unexpected incident. Miss Otis, that is a statement mired in narrow vision rife with factual refractions. I am of the stance that the qualities of a good teacher are not defined by such statistics. So you must be the one who placed last on that scale. Just don't say anything, bud. Best not to stand out like a sore thumb. I may have overreacted then. My lord has said, from the virtuous we may learn to replicate their merits, from the flawed we may learn to avoid their failings. As long as the student is willing to learn, anyone, anything can be a teacher. I also, to embrace this teaching, seek from all those who we come across. Just what in the heavens are you doing? I am preparing a lesson plan for young Shi-chun, our family hierarch. Wow, you sure got on that fast. So what are these yellow wormy things here? Ah, 'tis a star, twinkling in its radiance. According to the schedule that you've prepared, the student had -3 hours available for sleep. This lesson plan's execution will require cooperation from T-Corp. 'Twould be a mistake most fatal indeed. I shall correct it post-haste. Zigong was staring at Don Quixote's expression of her wild artistic merit upon the curriculum with her usual crescent moon eyes. Wait, is that supposed to be Zigong's grimace? Of course. Each to their own, I suppose. I need not be shaken by every little thing until we have their actual lesson plans in hand. Hey, thanks for putting your faith in us, Zigong. We barely have any of that to go around ourselves, so I understand it couldn't have been easy. You could say that I have learned my lesson. The recent events have taught me that the path of learning is truly one without end.
She's saying that, like, believing in us is fucking hard because we're all idiots. I also love how Mersal didn't even call Dawn stupid. He's just like, we're gonna manipulate time. We are. We're winning though. Hi Zilu. I don't really know what voice to give you because like usually you're muffled. I see that you have all individually worked on your lesson plans prior to Zigong's requests. Hi Zilu. Zilu without anything. It's just Zilu. Oh, good heavens. She's just a pretty lady. Oh, no, she's hot. Didn't we all kind of know she's hot?
I have received a total of 12 lesson plans.
Hold on! Shouldn't there be 13 of them? Even the executive managers decided to spare their precious time to teach a class. Yeah, I handed in my lesson plan, too. The Banui pin. Oh, she does have a little fucking buddy pin.
The horror.
What do you mean, the horror? Be nice to Zilu.
That's because... so who didn't do their homework? After a brief silence, everyone turned around to look at one of the sitters.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes fucking sense. It ain't me. Oh, please, at least try to make your compelling argument. Who else other than you could it possibly...
It's me.
You Sync?
You've been acting out of character a lot recently. What's going on?
Well, that's,
Sinclair was drenched in sweat for some reason.
Actually,
In Sinclair's seat was a large stack of papers, each filled to the brim with writing. Sinclair, are these papers...
I'm done.
Sorry, I got too into making a lesson plan. I just couldn't stop myself from writing. Sinclair couldn't have appeared more proud as he placed that big bundle of sweat-soaked papers in Zilu's hands. And she receives it with mild trepidation. You seem to have dedicated quite the momentous effort in drawing up this lesson plan. What's up with her? Let's start reviewing from the first of the stack. 108 Analytical Approaches to an Aesthetics AAA.
Yeah, Ryoshu?
What does AAA mean? How do you plan to explore all 108 approaches in a month? Appreciation of artistry and assassinations. F you went too far.
Right, sorry.
Flip a page and continue reading for those 108 approaches.
What paint did you use?
It's quite viscous and the paper has partially melted.
Lady, watch yourself! You almost got some on my arm!
A painting, huh?
Zilu?
It trails coding the world. Now you know how aesthetics. I've never seen this word. Appreciate the artistry of slaughter. Just what the hell did you paint in that paper? Hey, get it together! Zilu stumbled briefly. Whatever was on that paper must have given her quite the shock. My mind wandered for a moment. This is too dangerous to be used for a lesson. Thus it goes into the discard pile. Weak sauce. Zilu crumpled up the paper without hesitation, tossed it out of sight. Aren't you like a mom, Ryoshu? How the fuck do you know weak sauce? Next. Intro to Societal Reintegration. Impressive title. Chapter 1. How to shake hands with your left hand when the situation calls for it. Chapter 2. Exploration of exclusively long-sleeved fashion and practices. Chapter 3. Projecting confidence and why having a bug arm is totally cool. That's, you know how it is. Be proud of who you are and all that philosophy stuff. I wanted this lesson to give a bit of a paradigm shift where we can all come to see our flaws not as failings but as evidence of our individuality, which will usher in a world where we can carry on with our lives no matter what kind of arm we have. Discard. Next. Zilu quickly flipped through the pages. Intro to Degenerative Linguistics. Subheading, The Power of Words. Sticks and stones may break their bones, so let's add words to the pile. My credentials include the ability to dress down an opponent so hard they fall to their knees and beg me to stop. I have plans for application as well. The lesson teaches methods pertaining to the disguising compliments and criticisms and vice versa. All of this seems rather difficult to learn. I have concluded from my hitherto observations that Jashichun is an individual of great promise in this field. Follow my instructions to a T, and I guarantee you that this cadet shall be able to have the upper hand in any verbal confrontations. Is this a curriculum that make the best brawler that make the best brawler or the best family hierarch out of me? Zilu seemed quite interested, but Jashichun's vehement veto eventually overruled the suggestion. On Justice, another impressive title. Subheading, Methodologies of Captivating an Entire Room of a Preoccupied Audience. Discard. Fie on thee! Wherefore? Next. Praxis of ego-splitting Good fucking god, does someone... Oh, God. Okay. This is Mersal's. This is fucking Mersal's. Okay, Mersal. I will read all of this. Oh, wait, this could be Faust. This is either Faust or Mersal. It's one of the two. That's Yi-Song. Is it Yi-Song? Mirror. Idealism. Okay, this is easy. Okay, yeah, this is easy. Okay, yeah, no, this is Yi-Song. Why doesn't it use spaces or punctuation? Fuck, man. Paradox of ego-splitting concern and intermirror conflict between the self and reflection and the paradoxical ally-fractured theorem of the idealism with which one attempts to open the door to the door. Utterly incomprehensible. Discard. Perhaps Miss Ryoshu's advice to truncate the lesson title should have been taken in earnest. Survival and exploration. 21 reasons to pay attention to when the exploration team leader is giving advice on the upcoming adventure. Case study for the 30 horrible mistakes that occurred between the team was distracted during the leader's lecture. How to track down a troublemaker who tries to sweep trouble under the rug while the team's leader isn't looking. Someone ignored my advice that we should have been moving 2 steps ahead. Finally, I've narrowed down to 3 culprits. Wait, I forgot to take that part out! And into the shredder it went. When did that paper shredder get here? The art of using yawning as a cover for popping a cookie or two into your mouth, especially useful when getting lectured. Hey, if you get good enough at it, you can do that with nuts too. So it was you who made those crunching noises in our last meeting. What? No! What do you take me for, an amateur? The art of social maneuvers. How to let it flow through you. How to not make things awkward when you walk right in on someone bad-mouthing you. The most important part of this art is to flash a refreshing smile in a way that looks earnest. It helps when you convince yourself that smiling is what brings good fortune. Smiles have a way of disarming people, giving them pause and making them hesitate. I remember that. Big Bro used to teach use that technique to confuse a lot of Dakwon Nyan. It's people who hated him. I see. Well, this... I can't quite bring myself to throw this into the shredder. Next. How to remain in complete stillness for a week until the next command is received. This lesson plan was designed based on Rodion's advice that I must prioritize strengths that are unique to myself. Look, in my defense, I didn't know he considered that to be his unique strength, okay? Let us consider whether standing in complete stillness for a week is a quality one might seek in the family hierarchy. This one is certainly interesting. What separates bravado from bravery? Jack shite. Sawed off and grab your weapons. Yeah, always got to read the full print. Ah! It's my philosophy that fucking God damn it, I'm doing Australian again. British, isn't it? Tuesday. Philosophy that's Australian. How do I forget how British people sound? In like 2 nanoseconds. That reason don't necessarily need to be considered for coming to blows. That's also just Australian. I'm doing Australian on accident. You talk to Max. I know. She's British. Martial prowess is indeed an indispensable part of the family hierarch's qualities. But our focus is not on the developing of a hierarch of a syndicate. Next. Information disparity as a driver of inequitable treatment. Oh, that's actually the most interesting sounding one so far. And the application of engineering frameworks. Okay, it's kind of losing me, but I'm still on board. For systematic resolution in rational self-interest driven societies. Gestalt. Fucking goddamn it. And is it still going? That was 1/5 of the full title. It seems that the same trouble has hindered both you and I. Every word in that title was added for its absolute necessity. Indeed, indeed. After she had gone through the majority of her lesson plans. Finally. Now that that's over. Yes, it's finally my turn. Sinclair sighed with the gravitas of someone who had just been bestowed with the most important mission of his life. Thinking back, even back in school, I used to daydream about becoming a teacher myself. I thought I could get good at it. So I guess you could say that I'm pretty happy to be given an opportunity like this. I call my lesson the theory on self-overcoming. We have to accept that everyone stumbles at first, but by always striving to be a better person than I was yesterday. Hey, but what if I like who I was yesterday more? That's okay. Everyone has their own unique potential sleeping deep inside. So with everything I've learned and experienced so far, let me teach you. Let me teach you how to how to not doubt your own capabilities, how to always shoot higher. Hold on, you had me for a second there, but what's up with the acting like you're infinitely more enlightened person than I am? Ah, of course. I prepared a speaking class. You can learn how to speak with modesty, too. I never would imagine Sinclair would be into this. Yeah, it's too bad he's so into it, he's not even listening to what Ji-Chun's saying. Following that, your company's, it seems Zilu has completed a review. Oh, I see. I see now everything's going. How's everything? I see. Now, how's everyone going? Everything going, everyone. Class prep going well. Line curriculum most especially. Okay, so that's a no. That was Sod's impression upon taking a quick glance at Don Quixote, who was sobbing and cradling the shredded pieces of her lesson plan in her hands. Well, it wasn't a complete bust, at least. Sinclair's lesson plan survived. Miss Seagong, Miss Sod, I've prepared a full 30 days worth of lesson plans. Would you like to take a look? But Seagong and Sod weren't looking at the dozens of lesson plans Sinclair so probably visited with their eyes, they were looking away. Seagong especially was looking at the way with an unmistakable expression of pity. So he doesn't know. Would you mind explaining this, Zilu? I could not bring myself to tell him. Apologies. So this young man produced this entire sizable stack of lesson plans all on his own. I see. Weakness has found its way into your heart in the face of such earnest effort. I understand. However, it has been decided that Sinclair will not be participating as one of Josh Chun's teachers. Or should I call you pupil Sinclair to be exact? This has got to be a mistake, right? Isn't Shi-Chun the people? She's people? Not wrong. The pupil here? No, there haven't been any mistakes. My lord has specifically instructed that you are to learn from this as well. What? What? Seriously? This isn't right.
Guys, this isn't right. Ah, now this looks like a proper classroom. Would have felt pretty dang empty with just Ji-chun sitting there on her own, don't you think? Besides, I bet Sink's the resident expert on going to schools, right? School's a luxury for me, you know? Yeah, maybe, but that doesn't mean I ever wanted to go back to school. You should learn to be grateful. I don't dole out my teachings to just anyone. Don't forget, we gotta redo the whole lesson plan under their supervision. Otis, you always get on your soapbox and try to lecture everyone about something after every single battle anyway. And you, Ishmael, you always get hyperfixated on something. Once you find something interesting, you never stop talking about it for 3 hours at least, and... I will ensure that you receive the best education I can provide, Sinclair. Hold on, Yi-sung. I thought we were the underdog duo. Remember the checkup when I said we got this? We were going to get this together. The evaluation painted a twisted picture of the true scale of strength, the sole measure of which erroneously relied entirely on physical might. I shall not hesitate to impart knowledge for those who require education. Congratulations, my lady. You found yourself a desk mate, which some also call a bestie, depending... What the you can't say that way. You can't just fucking say bestie. Don't fucking say bestie in We just fought Grandma! I saw an ego manifest, and now you're saying bestie. This is my bestie. Bestie. Draw like the heart around his head. Depending on desk placement. Desk mate. Bestie. What the heck does any of that mean? Huh? Josh Yi-chun's eyes widened with confusion, as though she just heard those words for the first time in her life. When I first met her when she was 16, she explained to me that she hadn't attended any school-like institutions. This is par for the course for children of the Huangwan who are raised with the purpose of becoming the next family hierarch, the reason being that schools can be a perfect place to assassinate someone. So, desk mates and besties. Sinclair began to explain, seemingly resigned to the fact that he was essentially going back to school for a month with the other sinners as his teachers. Usually sit next to each other and help each other out. A bestie might nudge the other awake when they doze off, share homework with one of the other if they forgot to do theirs, and they usually end up being included in the best memories of each other's school times. So not very important at all, huh? I think I got this on my own. I don't need a bestie. It may have come a few years late, but I am moved that my lady finally has a chance at experiencing school. Same here. I remember it like it was yesterday. Ji-chun would sit and watch other kids walk to school from a distance, tears welling in her eyes. Dude! Oh, that reminds me. One day out of nowhere, she started saying something about eating from lunch boxes with friends. I haven't a clue as to how or why she even heard about it, but she snuck into the kitchen and... Wait, don't you guys have lesson plans to write? Come on, hurry up. The 30 days are ticking down. We only got 30 days. Of course. Unfortunately, I have become quite occupied with another task of great importance, assisting Wei in indexing and reviewing various documents that are in critical need of organizing. Thus, I must leave the lesson planning task to you two. Zilu and Miss Sod, have you any thoughts on this matter? Slacker. What was that? I said nothing. Everyone in this fucking Intervallo is an idiot. In, like, the best way. In, like, the best possible way. Also, there's, like, 30 seconds until ads, so sorry, I am going to have to throw you all into ads. But don't worry, all right? I know that we're all getting into the back-to-school mood. So, I have brought along a substitute teacher. Oh, wait, hang on. You hear that? I think I can hear him coming down the hall right now. I think he's right outside the door, actually. I fucking love that theme. I love how that theme alone has inspired fear in everybody because he came back. Like once, and it was just like, what the fuck? Anyway, here's Moonlight Sonata.
The horror. I have like 6 weeks before classes start again. I don't envy you.
On the importance of hair coupons. A case study between the bristly and the luscious. Bring back Summoned Skull. I need to sacrifice something to summon him. Like, I can't do that. Do you have any idea how tribute summoning works? Is there a card that special summons Summoned Skull? There's like 5 versions of Summoned Skull now. But like, is there any that just summons Summoned Skull? I'm free. Congratulations. Ugh. I can't believe it's already been an hour, because it doesn't feel like it's been an hour. Work's gonna be really bad today. I can't sacrifice you. I can't kill you. That's like against my moral compass. However, that's always shifting. Come back in like a week. Zilu and Sod appear to have aged several years overnight, their faces sunken and shallow. And sallow. It's not shallow, that's sallow. Finally! After referencing the idiosyncrasies and various statistical data available to us regarding each sinner, we managed to come up with an appropriate curriculum. Miss Zilu? Apologies. Sleep deprivation has relieved me of clear mind. The path of an educator is truly a grueling one. Marching to battle would be much easier. Still, thanks to Mr. Jashu's methodology you shared, we did manage to find a way to make this quite efficient. Efficient, huh? To be a true family hierarch, there are dozens, hundreds of virtues one must understand and master. However, to do so in 30 days as promised is an implausible effort. Thus, we have categorized the countless virtues into 3 super categories. And they are called... what are these supposed to be? Ji, Yong, and Ren. Ji, wisdom. The wise lose neither people nor words. To hold one's silence in need of speech shall cost them people. To speak in the need of silence shall cost them words. A reasonable sequence of logic. Yong, courage. The ability to overcome fear and to act decisively. Have too much of it and risk becoming a brute. Have too little and risk becoming a craven. It needs harmony and balance. So how far are we allowed to go with the corporal punishment again? I can't do British. I can't do British. I keep forgetting. I recall no instance of any discussion regarding corporal punishment. And Ren, humanity, is the benevolence of the heart, the compass of behavior that dictates respect toward every human. Clearly most of the faculty of this school are severely lacking in all 3 of your criteria. Just how do you think they'll be able to teach the students anything? Yeah, like a certain someone who needs a lesson in Ren. Are you sure I'm in good hands? What the heck am I supposed to learn here? Where's Wei? He gave up. I didn't give up. I forgot. I tried to get into the accent and it just didn't come out. I just read it. Mr. Wei and Miss Zigong are currently quite preoccupied with handling the next monumental task of paperwork. Right, Mr. Wei wanted me to deliver this message to you. Be strong.
My lady. Wait! Despite her protestations, the 30 days of classes commenced. What? Fucking what? What? She's a unit? Family hierarch, H Corp, and Jaw family. She's normal to everything. Fatal to Slash. She's a fucking unit. It's an actual mini game. Morale -9. Well, I mean, these are all the same. So, this is a mandatory class. Oh, I can't. Okay, that's where I would swap these out. Combo combinations. That is how. Isn't combo short for combinations? My name is Yi Song. That is all. The class I have prepared for the day. I've heard plenty about your mirror tech, which makes me wonder, going by the level of advancement in technology, couldn't you have approached it from a different angle? You know, how technology advancement usually goes, people invent for the sake of creation, only to have their inventions inevitably warped by the weapons of destruction. Indeed, you show much promise already. As you surmise now, the mirror has, in the past, almost been employed to shatter possibilities instead of reflecting them. I'm sure that that's the angle most others wanted to see happen. Removal of the potential risks sounds much more palatable than potential itself to some people, after all. Correct again. Yet destruction was a word that bore too much suffering from my heart. My sole egress from it was the abandonment of my quondam fellows and my life's work, making myself a fugitive from the past. How did you bring yourself to just abandon it all? I conversed. With who? With myself, that lies within me. As you are aware, the mirror's reflection extends beyond the veils of our own reality. It reflects the potentialities, the latent strength, and the world. Yet even among them, the reflection of the greatest importance is that of the self. Let not the innumerable words of the mirror enchant your gaze. First, one must direct their studies inward and reflect upon oneself. Look at this mirror. I had a very precious time learning to converse with my inner self. Sinclair has also grown in Ren. Big Ren gain. Now, if you are prepared, do explain what you see in the mirror. You needn't haste. For some reason, Ji-chun appeared to hesitate before the mirror. Hey, you know, it's been a while since I looked into the mirror for so long. My lady, do you recall Sun Zen of the Shi family who contacted you for a meeting? Yeah, the guy who said he was going to show me a precious flower that blossoms only at night. I remember that you were vehemently against me going out there, so I stayed inside. Wonder what kind of flower it was. Don't tell me you were actually looking forward to meeting him, my lady. Oh, of course not. Where's Horse Song? On the banner. You were wise to stay inside. It was revealed that you weren't the only person who was invited, my lady. That vile man had hired a group of assassins to ambush the meeting spot, and would have been waiting there to spring the trap had you gone. But apparently he was outplayed and had his limbs and head torn off as punishment. What a relief, isn't it? I guess. I'm glad I didn't go away. You were right. If only you still had the Wu branch under your control. Stop it. We agreed to move on from that, remember? We don't have to talk about it. I was brushing my hair and looking into the mirror as we were talking, but I realized that I no longer recognized the girl in the mirror. I don't know why, but I found it so hard to meet her eyes. But I brushed it off because I had to. An experience like that was going to be common occurrence anyway, and the family hierarch war was always looming on the horizon. Perhaps what you felt then may have been shame, but it is paramount to face oneself nonetheless, nay, especially so if it was. And Sinclair, what do you see? I see... Well, I just see myself smiling. I don't see what's so out of the ordinary. But it seemed like Sinclair couldn't really bring himself to face the mirror. Hey, after what we just discussed, I think I understand something now. Now that I've had some quiet time to looking at my reflection, I think I uncovered a part of myself that I had hidden away for a long time.
Look at the mirror. Look at the mirror. All right, Yi Song leveled up. Okay, good. Okay, fuck. Her slash resist got better? Oh, that's how this is going to work. I see. We're going to turn we're going to turn her into a monster. All right, Yi Song, get in there. Don Quixote, what do you got for us? Not necessarily what the hell's an achievement. I'll look it over. What do you actually roll for in this game? You roll for alternate versions of these motherfuckers. There's like, I think, maybe 12 different versions of Don Quixote. Tis true that the station of teaching is prone to imbue one with a sense of bashfulness. Sinclair and Ji-Chun both sat with a bit of apprehension as well. What if we just, like, fucking effloresce her ego? That would be sick. Which is understandable given what Sod told him before this lesson started. Some time ago. Otis, who'd been glaring daggers at Don Quixote for a good while, finally decided to voice her doubts to Sod. So what is Don Quixote, that woman, supposed to teach? Have you not considered that her usual flippancy might only cause more trouble than it's worth? You worry too much, Otis. While she may not look it, Don Quixote is extremely well versed in those adventure tales. And why would any of that matter? Have you yourself considered that fixtures often appear when history is in the making? Let us see here. Don Quixote took a second to savor the moment as though she'd been preparing her whole life for it, and then continued. Nah, stream is stuttering. There's currently like a massive spike in dropped frames. I dropped like 6,000 frames in like 2 nanoseconds. But don't worry, it's fixing itself, maybe. It's pretty fixed right now, so, you know, all things good. Wait, hang on. Who is this fixer? Okay, so we don't actually know her. How's the chat delay? I don't know. When do you hear this? Now 1. Okay, hang on. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna count. When I say 2, type 2. 2. It's like 3 seconds. It's like 3 seconds, maybe 4. So, like, it's not that bad. We're not sitting in a minute, thankfully. So I think we're good. Here what? Whatever. Now, if you're like farther than like 3 seconds behind what I'm saying, then just refresh and you should be caught back up. Because everybody else, like, you know, some people seem to be like right on like the 3 second mark. Some people seem to be like pretty far behind. So if you're far behind, just fucking refresh the page and you should be okay. If not, I'll eat my own feet and turn into a ball. Anyway, Dawn.
Amongst the greatest fixers whose honored names were engraved in history. Verily, let us commence the lesson with a tale of the fixer Yi Fei, I think. This tale beginneth in the year sometime later. Are you done? Just how can she continue to talk at such length? She's been going for ages. Thus cometh the time to test thine dedication to the class and the knowledge that should naturally come with it. A pop quiz, if thou wilt. Wouldn't she even find time to prepare this? I can assure thee 'tis a quiz of entirely reasonable difficulty if thou hast paid attention in class. Worry thee not. Does this pop quiz have prizes? Aha, but of course, I came prepared for such inquiries. For each correct answer, I shall bestow upon thee from the very treasure chest of mine these precious, precious fixer badges. Forsooth, I did not let a single day go by in which I did not polish each and every one of them on 3 separate occasions, at the very least. I don't know. I don't really need them. Hold thine applause, for there is a bonus reward for the victor who, by the end of this match, carries more badges. Thou shalt attain the role of the protagonist of the theatrical play of the making. Fixer Chronicles Yi Fei. I think it's Yi Fei. Yi Fei? I think it's Yi Fei. Tis an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm still not really... It's not doing anything for either of us. It's still a pretty useless reward, but if you're turning this into a competition, I won't lose. Seriously? What? Scared you'll lose? Is history your weakness or something? I'll have you know that I was the teacher's pet in every single history class I took. And I'll have you know that I was, no matter the subject, showered with praise from every master I ever had. Okay, if that's how you want to play it. I'll have you know I was a prodigy in other classes, too. I did great in art classes, pretty good in math, too. I was just being humble because I didn't want to steal your thunder, Ji-chun. Oh, then let me tell you that I was trained in the mastery of at least 10 different disciples every single day. And on one of those days, you know what happened? One of my masters told me? He said, looks like Miss Jia Shi-chun is finally getting a feel for how friendship close in age are forged in school. That's good. No matter how excellent our masters were, there are some experiences you can't just learn from your teachers. I TikToked in response. 'Tis year 505. What is the historical community's consensus on the most illustrious battle that Fixer Yi Fei is said to have partaken in? Allow me to impart thee a major clue. If thou hast paid attention, that I've discoursed upon the 5 pillages in which Fixer Yi Fei was mentioned, this should not be a difficult question to answer. The honorable fixer of the cerulean heaven, who attained triumph at the Battle of Rhino Tree in the year 465, hath said what was the worst ordeal she had faced in her career? I've got it. It was when she had forged onward despite watching her dear comrades fall one by one as they held in line to buy her time. Damn it, I was too slow. Fie, young Shi-chun, thou art incorrect. Honorable fixer of the cerulean heaven is recorded to have testified that the worst ordeal in her career was when she was forced to stand before her enemies with the hair that was not luscious, as was supply line breakage caused her regular delivery of nutritional supplements to cease. What thou hast suggested, young Shi-chun, was her 17th most difficult ordeal. She's speaking like she was actually there. Thine impression is quite understandable, for I am trained in the ways of vividly regaling these tales. But most of these tales I learned from books. Much did I anticipate the opportunity to regale these tales to such audiences. Enough to study the ways of minstrels. There was a clear look of pride in her twinkling eyes. The frames are on the floor. Yeah, we're dropping frames again. Oh, we're really dropping frames. Oh, it's going like down. Coming back up. Going back down. 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 Up. Down.